Hello. Welcome back to the Fanboy Cantina. How are you doing? Hey there, Mr. C. How are you?
I'm feeling all right for what day is it? Thursday? I'm feeling all right for a Thursday night. Maybe I didn't know what day it was exactly perfectly. All things considered, doing all right. What's going on in your neck of the woods, sir?
Uh, Also confused at what day it is. It's kind of,
Yeah,
kind of bizarre doing it on a school night.
there we
And
go.
but it's going to be all right. It's okay. It's good. And okay, and so in the comments, oh, the weather. Oh, okay, I gotta click this. Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. And since we know, let's go, let's go, let's
Let's
go. That's
go.
that is awesome.
We might have to put that on Chai Star's greatest hits.
I hope the holiday special has them. Okay, so I am wearing today a a holiday Mando shirt. That is my attire for today. What do you have no? But you've got the official Mr. C shirt.
Well, and see, so again, with the left and right business. So I thought, maybe I needed to get more diver helmet within the show, so I did a slight
Mhm.
reconfigure. Oh, and here's a nice ring light that's a little bit out of commission, but we'll just tuck him off to the side just a touch. So
We
I
go
thought
back to the one shot. We go back to
maybe,
the one shot or the two shot. That's okay.
I thought maybe possibly in addition to highlighting this Doug Horn fine work behind me here, I should also
Oh,
find a
okay.
way
All right. We'll go back to the one shot.
to get okay. All right, maybe in addition to getting the the Rico signature that you picked up for me and
Ah.
these fine Doug Horn and what fanboy geez, I just got to get myself a cheat card for the Wolfman one, the one that's not the Doug Horn one, but he's got fanboy in the name, fanboy museum maybe, I don't know, but anyway, and the good old creature beach towel
Oh,
still right there, but I
oh,
thought
there we go. There we go.
I
Very
thought
nice.
gotta get the diver helmet back in the in the backdrop.
You've got the motif right there. Very nice. Nicely done.
That's right.
And okay, yes, and thank you. Yes, I do happen to really like this shirt. I don't remember where it came from, but
So we got a baby Yoda, also known as Grogu,
yeah,
in the space pram. We got a mythosaur symbol
right.
under him.
You're right. I'll go to my one
Yeah,
shot so we can figure
take
out
it,
what
take
the
it.
heck is going on here. So
Oh, so
yeah,
that's not even a holiday sweater. That's a
it's a
mock
t-shirt.
replica sweater on a tee. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that some TIE fighters off to the other side there? Is that what we got?
That's what we got right there. And I would hate. I will never be a meteorologist because I can't figure out my left from my right. But
Yeah.
yes, with the TIE fighters right there. And then, yes, Mr. Campbell observes, yes, I have shaved off the facial hair. There's a bit of stubble going on right now. Uh, I think for a lot of people, I took advantage of the pandemic and figured, well, I'm going to grow out a beard. But I figured the pandemic was going to last 3 weeks and and then I'd shave the thing off, and then whatever you want to call where we're at right now, it was longer than 3 weeks. So, but I just didn't like touching my face and there'd be hair. Have you ever had a beard, Mister C? You've
Oh,
had,
from time to time. Yeah,
yeah,
I would think, without knowing, and we're not going to check our
yeah, yeah,
logs
yeah,
of history here, but probably at some point in the time, I've had at least a partial, if not a full beard in our comings and goings
yeah,
on this very channel.
yeah. It's been a while since you've had a thing
Yeah,
here, but yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. It was time for it to go, and it's funny. I'm pretty sure. Uh, I'm sure people are fascinated by this. So as soon as I shaved this thing off, and I used the Face ID or whatever on my phone, and it couldn't figure out who the heck I was.
That's
So
good.
you,
Well,
if it could talk, it would have said, "Who dis?" just like old phone, who dis? Yeah, I don't think I miss it. Yeah, doing. Yeah, I don't think that's a thing. Yeah.
wow.
So it's been a while. The last time we did a live stream was actually Halloween. So it's been
Yes.
months almost because I could
We
do
get like
math.
one in per quarter in our current. Sometimes we've been more frequent, sometimes we've been less, but anyway.
Yep. So with this one, yeah, we got kind of a loose agenda as a bit of our wrap up or where we're. Oh, that's a handsome cup that you got right there.
Well, that's again a Chai Star Super 7. This was featured, I'm pretty sure, on my channel back to around summertime. But yep, for a Super 7 stocking stuffer, you can't go wrong with a cartoony creature.
That is a nice piece. That's a nice piece.
Thanks, Chai Star.
All right, so I have as a rough set of things. We could do toy talk, holiday talk, and movie talk, or any other kind of talk. Where should we start first?
Spin the wheel. Well, you're pretty big movie, and I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm a small movie guy, but you're pretty big. So hey, let's go movie.
All right, so let's go movie talk. All right, so I've been watching a bunch of movies lately, and I've been doing a lot of travel. That's why we haven't had much content on this thing. But I really really enjoyed Godzilla minus one.
I've
If
got to get
it's
there. I
if
have
it's
got to
at a
get there.
theater near you, you gotta see it. You gotta see it. Is it on the list potentially for you, Mr. C?
See, and here's a talking point that you
Yeah, let's
and
go.
Campbell and Campbell's Corner have. Like, when am I going to see the movie so we could speak on the movie? And it's a fair question when you ask it. It's a fair question when Jim asks it. I would absolutely, I really, really do want to see Godzilla minus one, and I absolutely want to get there, and hopefully that all the variables will fall into place and we'll make it happen. So here or off camera, we can make the conversation on it. I guess just from looking at non-spoiler reviews, it ramped it up. It ramped up things on the Godzilla, on the kaiju element, and then simultaneously ramped up things in a way perhaps that none of the previous Godzillas did on the human connection part. So if we're doing a non-spoiler, I can't spoil a movie I've never seen, but it's interesting to raise both elevators at the same time, to have your offense and your defense playing a top level game in the same sphere.
Yeah, it is fantastic. It is fantastic, and it actually brings it back to, and this is why it's called Godzilla minus one. It's not maybe like a necessarily a prequel or I don't know what you would call it, but nor do I think it's like a reboot. It's a version of the Godzilla story that we have not seen before. Yeah, it's extraordinarily well done. The special effects are fantastic. When I contrast this movie that I think was made for $15 million in total budget, compared to what 200 some odd million for Quantum Mania, which I did not like as a movie. It was all right. It was all right. I shouldn't say I didn't like it. It was all right, but I did not like that movie anywhere near as much as got the Godzilla minus one. With the Godzilla movies, it the genre, you've got the monster part, obviously, but then you've got the human characters that kind of add to the runtime of the movie. And sometimes it's a colossal waste of time, like Perry Mason dude, or take that shot right there. Or like I was watching Godzilla, King of the Monster. Which one? No, Godzilla versus Kong. That movie is not good. And so in this Godzilla minus one, the human characters you actually have an investment in. You actually care about them. It's a really impressively well done movie. And there's a bit of a message in there. I'm very curious how I should read up on how it lands for Japanese audiences in particular, because it is post-war Japan, and it actually deals with things about trauma and other things that I think are really profound. But I'm curious how it lands overseas. But yeah, fantastic movie.
Once I get to seeing it, I'll better be able to answer Jim's question. Do I consider it a prequel, or is it kind of like a 2009 J.J. Abrams Star Trek, where it's in a different timeline and alternate reality, if you will? But just we're at a prime time for Godzilla right now, and again, not everyone is going to appreciate each of the iterations. But this coming after I attended my first ever Godzilla Fest this past
Oh, yeah.
summer, I'm imagining that the upcoming Godzilla Fest around here in the Chicago area is going to be an extra big deal, probably draw some larger numbers. I'm speculating based on the current boom or the current the tsunami of Godzilla popularity, if you will.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then I know you're just saying Godzilla versus Kong. So I've been waiting. I've been checking
Uh,
Barnes and Noble. And so
uh-huh.
because we like our art of books around here. So
Uh-huh.
this, I think it might have been April. And then maybe it said May. Then maybe it said June. But for sure, then it said December 16. And this is the Barnes and Noble website. So now it's saying January 30. I don't know if I'm flooding out, but
Wow.
I don't need to flood out. I have never tracked a book similarly in all my life of any kind of a book, whether it's an academic book, whether it's a serious book, whether it's an art of Godzilla and Kong book. But I anticipate the art in this book is going to be top level, next level. But it's coming on 3/4, maybe even longer. Maybe it was being delayed before I started tracking it, but the delay after delay. Anyway, I am looking forward to having Godzilla, Kong, the Art of book in the hand, and I'm looking forward to commenting on the book on your channel, on my channel, on both the channels. But it's a good time to be a Godzilla person.
I gotta tell you, if there's one part of that movie that I did like at certain moments, it's the look of the film where you've got the Hollow Earth thing. And yeah, I'm sorry if I'm spoiling a 4-year-old movie or however long it's been. 2 or 3. I don't know how. Anyways, I'm sorry if I'm throwing, but the Hollow Earth thing, that part was kind of cool, and the bit of the MonsterVerse kind of thing, that was kind of cool. Uh, where you get, but then I realized that the Japanese character that's using Mechagodzilla, I guess, is the son of Dr. Serizawa in the previous movie. It's just sort of like, just didn't seem like in character or what you would expect. Like, yeah. Your good guy is now son turned into the villain. I guess that's fine. Yeah. Anyways.
Kylo Ren.
Yeah. 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 So, other movies I've been trying to catch up on movies. I watched Talk to Me, a horror movie. Horror is not my genre, but
I said that once or
sometimes
twice.
sometimes I feel myself compelled to it, and that is a scary movie. That is a scary movie. Yeah. That is.
Now, it's interesting. Right? There's many sub genres of lots of things, but I would say right for classical black and white universal stuff, I've
Mhm.
watched more of those. But like as you frequently state, horror isn't your thing.
That's
But I
right.
think so with release dates of 1960 and up to current, I think you've seen a hell of a lot of more horror movies than I have. So it's again, it's an interesting, nuanced point between our that which we track.
You raise a good point. It's like I say, it's not my thing, yet I still put myself
Yeah,
through it.
yeah.
And then, off to the side here. So I've got some movies that I'm looking forward to checking out, and I'm looking forward to us eventually talking about this at some point. Available on Max now. You can stream this thing. Um, this is still my favorite movie of the year. This is Past Lives. Absolutely wonderful film. Highly recommend that. And I got this off of eBay. This is, I think, a Singaporean movie from the 90s called That's the Way I Like It. It's a fun movie from my recollection of it. I just haven't seen it in a while. But anyways, uh, this one I am absolutely looking forward to watching. A Disturbance in the Forest. And so this is a documentary about the Star Wars holiday special. Uh, oh, oh man, TriStar G with the reference. Thank you. Yes, Leslie. That's right. That is hilarious. That only makes sense to people who have seen that movie. Yeah. So, have you seen the Star Wars holiday special, like back in
Well,
the day?
now, again, talk about that which is lost to time. I am largely confident that either on the recess playground or at the desks in the classroom way back at the time, I'm largely confident we had to have spoken of it. But again, then it was a thing that was, well, so tucked back away, literally hidden away, that then as the years pass, the memory starts to blur. Like, did it really happen? Did it not really happen? What was going
Right.
on? So yes, I have viewed it. I'm not sure by which means, but I have viewed it in relatively recent years. And a documentary on it would be uh, that's something I want to dive into.
Yeah.
Part of the fun, because how did it like from the start to the finished product? Like what revisions, what drafts, what changes came, and as it's been said that led to George Lucas tightening the grip, adding more firewalls and more passwords to be able to access his stuff. You can see why that would motivate a person to want to have a more executive control, more final director's cut on what other stuff gets made out of his intellectual property.
I mean, so I did watch the Star Wars holiday special when it aired live on television. My dad taped it off of the TV with the Betamax. So there's a Betamax, recording somewhere. I have no idea where that is, but I'm sure it's somewhere. And it's a thing that we never watched ever again. It's just it was not a good thing. It was not a great thing to watch. It For me as a little kid, when I'm like 8 years old, I think, and um, is it 7 or 8? Anyways, I can't do math at the moment, but I'm a little kid. There's like musical acts. It's kind of like trippy and weird, and Art Carney is in it, and
B.
uh,
Arthur, right?
E. Arthur, right? I was going to say Maud, but yeah,
Oh, all right.
yeah, yeah. It ain't a great ride, but this one I'm looking forward to. This one I'm absolutely looking forward to.
Now, and I'll just say this: so structurally, so not in the result, not in the tone, not in the enjoyment, but structurally, not too far off in time from Mark Hamill appearing on the Muppets, because it had some variety show, song and dance. So, and Mark Hamill with uh, Anthony Daniels, I believe Kenny Baker, and why am I drawing a blank on Peter Mayhew? So right, so it wasn't only him. So you had all those guys, and there was Muppet comedy and bits and stuff. So again, structurally, you had some variety show, you had some song and dance. So holiday special, not completely different from the Muppet episode, but I gotta say, one to me stands the test of time better than the other.
Yeah, yeah. The I have vague memories, and I think on YouTube you can actually watch somebody's TV recorded version of the holiday special. But my vague recollections, you had the animated bits it's its own unique style that they've got, and that you can watch on Disney Plus, and that's I think the first appearance of Boba Fett actually.
Yeah.
So that's cool in animated form. But then like there's like these musical acts and dancing and stuff, and it's like, what the heck is this? So Jim Campbell writes, the movie is banned, but they made a holiday special Chewbacca Funko. Weird, yeah, yeah. And actually, I think I've got a YouTube short of the vintage collection uh, Chewbacca figure in the Life Day robe. Yeah, yeah, it's weird. So it's, I guess, cool in that it's being normalized a bit, that acknowledging it exists, but it's kind of weird that there's not actually a a licensed viewing of that thing.
At least it's confirmed that it wasn't a collective fever dream. It wasn't a Mandela effect for all of us. It actually did happen.
So this would actually be a good transition to the holiday movie topic, but I'm going to keep us in the movie topic. All right, so I'm going to do a call, do one off the cuff here. So you and I were just texting about Aquaman 2.
Yes, we were.
You gonna see that movie?
Well, this isn't Campbell's Court. Now they say in a courtroom, you should not ask a question unless you already know the answer. And you've just asked a question to which you know the answer, but for the benefit of everyone else who was not right there in the text with us.
Yeah.
Well, I want, again, going back to Aquaman 1. Well, let me answer the question first to not drag it on. Highly unlikely I'm going to make it to the theater. And I had a higher opinion of Aquaman 1 than did you. And I acknowledge, it could have been separated out. It was like, possibly maybe if they had split it out, then they would have had a second one that would have been approximately equal in its success. But there's just so much stuff. It's the close of the DCEU, and how it is at 5 years, since the first one. And okay, now here I'm going to go an obscure route on it.
Right.
Certain actors, I don't have the full list in my head, have been in the DC movies, the DCEU movies, and the MCU. Lawrence Fishburne, for example, was Perry White on the DC side, and then Lawrence Fishburne on the Ant-Man side was Bill Foster. Yep. So now here we have in Aquaman 2, Randall Park, who within the first Aquaman movie had a very minimal screen time as I think it's Dr. Shin. I'm not sure if I'm saying the character's name right. But then come back on the Marvel side, and here's Randall Park as Agent Jimmy Woo. So here's what I would really like to see what Momoa is bringing to the movie. I would like to see a classic Aquaman versus Black Manta battle at the movie house. But I get the idea that there's just so much else that's gone on with this that, again, whatever I have in my head or whatever I'd like to see come to life on the screen, I get the idea that's not going to manifest. And then as an additional kernel, a tidbit, if you will, I'd like to see what Randall Park. I think we both had enjoyment from what Randall Park did as Jimmy Woo. So it would be really cool to see Randall Park come and balance the scales on the DC side of things. But I can't imagine that his oceanographer or whatever specific doctorate that the character has, I don't think we're seeing too much more of him. So now back to you, sir. Your own question. What? You weren't big on Aquaman #1, so where are you
at? Was not big on Aquaman #1. Have not seen Shazam 2. Have not seen Blue Beetle. Did see The Flash. I did see The Flash, and I thought that was a good movie. It's not a perfect movie in the least either, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that movie. But again, I haven't seen Blue Beetle. It's the end of this version of the DCEU. There feels no urgency. There's no urgency. So I think this is going to be what is it? The double toasted thing. This is going to be a rental for me. Yeah.
Using the Corey and Martin scale, I think that's probably a fair way to go. In real life, when certain establishments are played, so I guess it's just time. It is absolutely time for the older DCEU to shut down and for the new stuff to come and materialize. I would say in real life, when certain places close, when certain nightlight spots we used to frequent had closed, or a certain Athens cafe, or the very well known around the neighborhood over here when the Cow restaurant, certain staples go, and I have a nostalgia and a wistful. I miss the things that come and go, but I think it's just time to to let the ship sail for the DC side.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, it I don't want the movie to fail. Like if it has an audience and if it's a good movie, then I'd like it to do well. But yeah, the blood is in the water, as it were, to use the pun intended.
Archer
And
film.
I just don't I don't see it doing all that great. If there's anything going for it, it's the holiday season. People or some people like to go to the movies while they're on break or they're on Christmas vacation or what have you. So it has that going for it, but beyond that, unless we start seeing better looking thumbnails on YouTube and other vibes, positive vibes, yeah, I don't see it doing well.
Yeah, and Jim was saying heart of hearts kind of way. I wish it would do great. I wish I would sit down in the theater and be completely wowed by it from the performance of Jason Momoa up to including all through the cast, including Randall Park and uh, you know and oh is, who who's who's the brother? The guy I can't think of the actor's name. Anyway, just the whole cast. Okay, but um, I just don't think it's in the cards. It's getting some bad reviews. Yeah, see, and then Flash, right? Flash. Okay, if we're separating the movie itself from the personality and the real world situations, the actor, Flash was a really good movie, I will say. But yeah, what
Oh
can you do?
man. So you gave me the entry point then, here, Mr. CISO. Let's talk about it a little bit. We'll be careful about it. But with the Jonathan Majors situation, which is, I'm not going to say that it's different or parallel or what.
Yeah,
I don't want
there's
to
a
get.
general similarity in that there were events, questionable events, in the real life of the actor that led to challenges in production or difficulties in trying to universe build in
Yeah.
the entertainment side of things.
Yeah. So it did take away. Different people feel differently about how to manage their sentiments. Can you take a piece of film and separate it from the person in it in real life? And it probably did impact my enjoyment factor of the Flash a little bit. I did think it was a good movie, and with Jonathan Majors and this situation, it's really unfortunate. The incident itself or the issues itself are obviously very unfortunate. Um, but yeah, I'm good with the end of the Kang character. I'm not sure that's actually what's going to happen. I know there's a ton of videos speculating one way or the other. What's your feeling on the Kang?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And okay, so neither of us have direct knowledge of
yeah,
the court proceedings of the
yeah.
real world events that caused the court proceedings, and it's just it's a shame. And let's hope everybody's as they appear to be currently physically safe, and then find
Right.
their way to uh, have not a story arc character recovery, but let's hope there's a real life human being recovery, uh, and that the future holds some positive things. I'm speaking kind of in generalities now, but now so back to the entertainment side. Yeah, so who knows? That's a lot of reworking and adjusting, and like, okay, so now that Jonathan Majors will not be playing Kang in future upcoming things, then what are the correct series of things, or the right steps to take to pivot and regroup for everything. So all I got to say is on that is time will tell, and we'll stay tuned, and we'll see how it comes to pass. I mean, I don't know what the right, I'm not Feige, so we're two people sitting here talking on a screen. So I guess our opinions is as good or as not good as any other couple of people talking on the screen. But we'll just see how it pans out, and I hope the real world stuff works out in a good way in the future, and I hope the entertainment stuff works itself out as well.
Yeah, well said, well said. Oh, looking in the comments here, yeah. Oh, that's from the previous comment about Aquaman 2. Feels like the DC movies are direct to cable. Yeah, there's not a. I don't know. One could even say to a degree, even some of the Marvel movies as well of late,
Of
um,
late.
not having the same heart or uh, execution as maybe what we had seen earlier at one time. I want Jim Campbell writes. I wonder if Kang was a gateway to Fantastic Four, and isn't Kang related to Reed Richards?
Oh, now wait a minute, Campbell. Now I know what you're thinking to throw out impossible questions. I know, but now of all the questions you have ever given to us, to my knowledge, this is the most irresolvable thing of all things. Is Kang Doom? Is Doom Kang? Is one the father? Is one the son? Are they the same person across different time? That has been the before the emoji of the exploding mind existed, there's Jack Kirby and Stan Lee creating some mysterious connection between Doctor Doom and Kang. And then you got his Nathaniel Richards, and then Kang's other identities of Immortus and Ramatut and the Scarlet Centurion. And I don't have a PhD in comics and pop culture, but I would love to know the answer. But that is a top level Campbell stumper to come out with that. And I don't, like as a villain, as a character has been in the comic pages, it's an interesting, he is an interesting foe for the Avengers, and so we'll have to see what else will come down the pike.
You know, I did see through Sundance earlier in the year. Um, so Sundance, the film festival is in January. Um, and due to the pandemic, they've had more of their movies, or actually 2 years ago, I think it was, um, maybe not entirely, but they had a lot more films available for streaming. Earlier this year, there were fewer films, but among them was Magazine Dreams, and that stars Jonathan Majors in the lead as a, let's see how to describe it, an up and coming boxer, and there are themes of toxic masculinity and other types of things that, I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was a good, it could have, I'd be curious on other folks who had seen that movie. uh, I think it could have been an award worthy performance from Jonathan Majors in it. But I don't know if it sees the light of day now because of the themes, um, of that movie, and it's unfortunate, now with what's happened. Um, you know, uh, let's see. No, I'm not going to say what I'm. Okay, at times, like you could do a whole thing about cancel culture and the merits of it and all of that. But at one time, before the events of late, it seemed like his star was on the rise. It seemed like his star was on the
Yeah.
rise, and now we find ourselves in a different spot. So I guess I'll leave it there.
Yeah.
And then Dave Fuentes writes, until Marvel and DC get their acts together. Yeah, I'm throwing all my fanboy love at Godzilla. That's right. I'm telling you, Mr. C, you got to see this movie in the theater. If you don't see it, though, just enjoy it on the biggest screen that you can at home or wherever it is. It is that good. It is that good.
Now, earlier you pitched me a question to which you knew the answer, so now I'm going to return to where
Oh,
might be one of the best, if not the best, places to read up on Godzilla's comings and goings as Godzilla is in the horror genre.
I don't know, Mr. C. What would be a good place?
I would
Tell me
say
where
that
would be
would
a good
be
place to go.
I would say that would be a Terror
Oh,
Dave's blog, terrordaves.com, because not only do you get Svengoolie news and other a full range of horror elements. But if you want your Godzilla coverage like nobody else has it, Terror Daves is where you want to be.
That is awesome. That is awesome. And yes, you can look at that URL scrolling at the bottom, terrordaves.com. And actually, do we have an old banner here? How
This
many?
is an old banner, and thank you for
Yeah.
pointing it out. Because let me check the Reddit. The Reddit is like 4,000 and change now.
Is
So
that right?
the Svengoolie Reddit group, which is a fun place for me
Yeah.
to hang out, they definitely had they're having a Godzilla of a year these days, or they're having a Godzilla sized month. I'm just calling up to see we're currently at 4,134 members in the Reddit Svengoolie. And as long as we're taking that segue, most recently featured. Let me
Oh, there
get
we
into the
go.
pages here because we're not trying to get into the full serious headlines, but and you can do this online as well. But here, right, Chicago Sun-Times, page 18 and page 19. You got your. I mean, I think people recognize Sven,
Yeah.
and maybe more of us are starting to learn the imp Ignatius Marvello Frankenstein. And you got behind Sven here. Let me switch hands so I can let you got your Bill Leff as Nostalgia Ferratu, and then you got your Sarah Palmer as Gwen Gooley. So you don't have to be in Chicago to pick up the newspaper from a few days ago. This is definitely at the suntimes.com also. And I thought this was a real great read. Nice tone, nice set of details. And for people that get concerned, so Sven is not due to retire, not anytime soon. And he's consistently said, as long as his health is good, as long as he's still having fun, to expect him to continue on. So again, the show was 2 hours, is now 2.5 hours. So only fitting that there could be more of a crew of what do they call the Sven squad. Now there's a full on squad in the Sven squad.
Yeah. I first heard of that article from. Yeah, so I have not kept track of the other groups, but I'm in the Svengooligans board, Facebook board or whatever Facebook group. There's another group that I'm blanking on the name of as well. Warner Houston hosts one of those groups. 50 some odd thousand people or some ginormous.
It might be 55, 56. Dave took an absence of social media, so we can't have anybody that has that access to that right now. Feel free to jump into the comments. But we're close. We're 55. We're north of 55,000 for Warner's group. Speaking of Warner, we're in negotiations with Warner for him. He said December is a busy month for him, so expect soon in January or February to see Warner on the Mr. C Dives In channel coming up again.
Very nice. And Dave adds as a bit of awareness about Godzilla -1. Godzilla -1 is being re-released on January 12th in theaters in black and white. That's amazing. That's amazing. Wow.
I like me doing some compare and contrast studies between when the thing is in color and when the thing is in black and white. This will apply to Godzilla -1. This definitely applies to Disney Plus Werewolf by Night, which was originally released in black and white, and then this past October released in color. I could go back and forth. Maybe we could get two TVs together and watch the black and white one and the color one at the same time. But then also, as long as we're giving plugs, Casual Crafter, for those of us that like customizing Migos, do check out Casual Crafter's channel, where I could run over and get them, but I won't. So the mummy character, the Boris Karloff as the actor, the Ardith Bay, the fake alias. So Crafter did a one black and white and one color. So just anytime you can switch back and forth between black and white and color, that's one of my points of interest to study.
I've yet to watch the color version of Werewolf by Night. I have not done
Why
that
am I not surprised? It's coming from the guy who is leagues behind on all the movies to catch up on.
So Jim Campbell asks, why do you think Sven has a appreciation rebirth? I think it's
Well,
because of Mr. C dives in with the series of Spenology. You can follow
well,
Mr. C dives in on YouTube.
we're trying to do our bit for the cause and study of Sven, having a little Svenology, but I think maybe more point on to say it's just quality product. You know, I don't want to do a Macho Man promo, but the cream of the crop rises to the top. So I mean, just I think there's such a confluence of things. All right, well, yeah, here, if you really want to get more, check out
Oh,
your From Shock Theater to Svengoolie book to get a full story on this. But for the purposes of our current question from Campbell's Corner for the show, just because it's good stuff, you got your Three Stooges sensibilities, you got your soupy sales hand at the door, you got your horror element, you got your intentionally quote unquote corny jokes, or you got your the jokes are actually funny, and some of them are designed to be intentional groaners. Just all the ingredients come together. Campbell, now let me do this. So there, let's make the comparison. There's Barry Allen standing at his crime lab chemistry set, and then the lightning strikes through, and the mix of the lightning and the chemicals creates the flash. So all those ingredients before Rich Coe's all came together with a bolt of lightning, and hence Sven's at the top of his game in prime time.
I was wondering kind of where that was going, but yes, you brought it back. You rein it all in right there. Nice. Yeah, I've probably watched more Sven. Honestly, I've watched more Sven this year than past 2 years, probably. I don't know. Yeah, there is a Svenaissance a bit. Yeah, going
Oh,
on.
Svenaissance. I like that. I
Yeah,
really do like that.
yeah, yeah. We'll get that on a T-shirt, maybe. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's that kind of wholesome nostalgia. I mean, nostalgia Ferratu is like a brilliant name, right? It's tapping into that piece of nostalgia that we have for Sven, and old movies and memories of watching old movies or watching Sven, in our younger years or whatever years those may have been. Yeah.
That's definitely one of those ingredients in there. And then, product wise, here's our three and
Ah,
three quarter inch Super 7 Sven.
mhm.
Here's the NECA Toonie Terrors Sven. And I don't know if they will make a nostalgia Ferratu, but the NECA Toonie Terrors, just regular Nosferatu. I mean, to me, that's kind of good enough to have them pal around together. So, and to give a more serious logistical answer, because Me TV chose to go with, I mean, however many markets it's in essence nationwide primetime Saturday night, that can't be hurting. And so then what made the executives choose to go with the 7 p.m. primetime Saturday night slot was all the stuff that we've already spoken on, the confluence of things, the Svenchronicity, if you will, that brought about the Svenaissance.
Nice. Synchronicity. Yet another yet another t-shirt to be made. Yeah, he's front page news. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, and let me say again, credit to Kim. So again, my first ever show on my own channel,
Yeah.
Jim Campbell is co-host and
Huh?
Migo collector, and so then that what's the date on here? It's the 19th. So just 2 days ago, as of this live show, there's Campbell coming to me with an early morning text like, "Hey pal, you want to check out the paper today? Front page news it is."
Very nice. Very nice. All right, so quickly on the toy talk then, because uh, I think we can get to the holiday bit, but with toy stuff, so a lot of posts on Instagram and elsewhere are people going to a store called Ross. I'm not sure it's an actual national chain or if it's like patchy. I'm not quite sure what their footprint is, but Ross is like a Marshalls near you, or a TJ Maxx, or I think a Burlington, which I guess they got rid of the Coat Factory part of their name. So it's like in that discount genre of store, and lots of stuff. at this place. But what has been cool is, this figure. So this Star Wars Vintage Collection action figure, the Imperial Stormtrooper with the blaster rifle. The original price of this thing was $25, and now you can get it for $6 at Ross. And on if you look on Instagram, you'll see people find GI Joe classified figures for like $6, I think, or thereabouts. Marvel Legends figures. I saw the Mjolnir actually at a Ross near me. Forget what the price was, but that was like, wow, really, it's that prop size Mjolnir thing. So some really cool stuff. Jada Universal Monsters as well. Mr. C, I think you tried to do a toy trip, a toy scavenger hunt. Chose to not clog up YouTube with other toy scavenger hunt channels, but did you find anything in your travels at all?
Talk about subgenres that have a wide range in their results. No, so I mean, yeah, and you tipped me off to Ross had the stuff going on, and so I just, as we were out and about last night, I thought I'd just go ahead and give it a whirl. I didn't find anything that was of interest along the Star Wars line or along the Jada line. I will say, as a sincere thing, and we're in a later way.
Yeah.
From whenever Jada started their Universal Monsters line, and then at whichever year through the San Diego Comic-Con that they had a prototype of the Mummy in the cage. I'm like, oh, I was so looking forward to the Mummy, and then maybe Phantom or whoever else was going to come next. And then whatever the circumstances were, that Jada no longer has the Universal line. So now they're in the discount. So, hey, if you like the Jada Universal line and you're near a Ross, then this could be your chance to get an $8 or $9 price off of it without having to go to eBay extreme prices. But yeah, that's, as Campbell and I talk about, what's your current white whale, or what, so that the fact that they're not making any more the Mummy and whoever else, that's a little bit of a heartbreaker, but we'll find a way to carry on.
Because the original price point, I think, was $20 for the Jada.
20, give or take, just slightly north of 20. But again, I'm never going to speak ill of the NECA line for any of their more current monsters or the classic ones, but the NECA are really well done, but at the elevated price point. And I'm not saying Mego is inferior, but I'll just say, let's say for NECA, there's a greater degree of detail.
Yeah.
But I'm still very good with the Mego line and the price point that it has, which ranges from teens to 20s to upper to mid 20s. So
Right.
there we have it.
Right. Yeah, it's too bad that the line is at an end, but yeah, I think at like $10 or whatever it was that you can find them at Ross. That's a pretty good deal. Yeah.
Now, speaking of other toys, so the Super 7 Collector Gift Guide, 2023, so current here. And again, Super 7 doesn't, am I getting it close enough? I think we're looking at some T-shirts over here, and fold outs are good. We got a little bit more, but then right here, what do we got? Gift set, this and that. I'm not sure we're getting total clarity on the images here, but we got a wide. Well, you've got some GI Joe business right there. We got a 3 foot guy, and then we got a little bit of Peanuts, and what do you call it? The Richard Scarry stuff there.
Oh,
so we got Super 7 having a great variety of options for us.
Yeah, so that catalog must have arrived earlier in the month, huh?
I would say yes. I don't
so so that 3 foot toy is not being produced.
All right. They see, of course. Take it to
yeah. So unfortunately, with Super 7, they have their own crowdfunding model, just like Hasbro and the HasLab or Kickstarter is Kickstarter. They had tried to crowdfund the mothership, the Cobra mothership, which was 3 feet long. And that thing just never seemed to get off the ground.
It's here $495. That might have been Might have been part of the reason.
That was definitely a backbreaker. Yeah, that thing, that vehicle does show up in the opening montage of GI Joe: A Real American Hero. I think season 2. Um, but yeah, it was $500 to begin with. It didn't hit any of, well, it didn't get produced, and so, but it was definitely not going to get any of the additional tiers that unlocked more stuff. But it wasn't just that it was $500; it was $100 in shipping. So it's $600 plus tax for this thing that shows up for 40 seconds in a GI Joe cartoon.
So $600. Now we know I'm no math wizard, but let me take a second here. $600, 3 feet. So we're looking at $200 per each foot of the toy.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. That's a good way to do it.
That's a
Yeah,
wave off. That's an
yeah,
easy wave off for me. I mean, it looks great, but looks great.
yeah. I mean, I can be suckered into the HasLab action. I did back the Ghost earlier, and I did back the Ghostbusters 2 HasLab just the other day. I did not jump into the Marvel Legends thing, and I think that was the only other one that may have gotten funded. Maybe there was a Transformers one along the way. Hey there, let's see. Sorry, I am late. Hey there, Crafter. Did you mention that Hasbro is clearing out the Mego set behind you? I didn't realize that. Really? This one? I think I bought this one on sale last year from Hasbro. So if they still even have these things, that's pretty. This is worth $14.99. That's insane. That's insane.
Well, first of all, Crafter's a reliable source on these things. Second of all, Crafter, we plugged your channel again, as it says right there. The casual, well, not the casual crafter, but there are a few casual crafter channels out there, but only one of them is doing Mego customizations. And again, for those of us who are interested, is that you can't do better than watching Casual Crafter.
No, you can't. It doesn't get any better.
But as long as we, go ahead.
No, at $14.99, that is no. Well, actually, I don't need 2 of these things. So it's good. I was about to be tempted, and I'm like, no, I'm good with the one. My complaint with this one, which I think is inevitable if I were to get another one, is that it's dented. It came dented from Hasbro, so that was annoying. Now that is a steal. The Ghostbusters.
now Kraft has got you on the ropes.
Now you got something there, because that is, for my money, a perfect set. That is a perfect set to me. You got the accessories, you got the figures, you got the tools, the talent. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. That's a buy.
Now, let me take 1 second. So, right, it's probably not that they're losing. So in other words, they come out with the original price, and I'm not one to say what profit margins it are and stuff, but let's just say that this is cool that it's now at a really affordable price for $14.99 or $19.99. Let's just look at the positive, that there's an affordable price right there, so that's kind of cool to be able to collect it.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is a perfect set. This is an enormous box. You get the 4 figures in it. It's a steal. It's a steal at $20. That is an insane steal. And yeah, no, it's all right. I don't need. I'm not MIB. I'm good with the to a degree. I'm good with the dented box here. And then, oh yeah, hey Mandarin, thank you for joining. This is awesome,
man. Timestamp it. The Mandarin showed up here in minute 54. It's a glorious thing. Happy holidays, Mandarin.
Happy holidays. That is awesome. And then Crafter writes, yeah, so that makes sense. Maybe that it's the Land of Misfits stuff that they had for held back.
Right. And again, Mandarin.
Well, yeah, I mean, hey, I should have sent it back and gotten mine replaced, because I was emotionally hurt. No,
sometimes it takes a minute. Hey, Mandarin, we're always good to have you come in live or come in the comments afterwards. Don't kill your dinner on our account, but it has been forever, bro. And hey, we're always well, we're always except when we don't do episodes for a long time. But other than that, we're always here to come back to Mandarin. But I want to say, well, Crafter was here. I want to again drop the seed for the
Yeah.
future. So J Spy recently made an add-on piece for the Frankenstein monster lab table, which I'm not. We don't do it anyway. So that's future stuff coming up to get caught up with J Spy and see
It's been
J
too long.
Spy's latest devices coming around.
Yeah, yeah. No, J Spy has been, and J Spy does have his own Facebook group, so be sure to check him out. You can follow him there. I'm excited about, yeah, him getting back in the swing of it and rolling out some new stuff. Absolutely, absolutely. So Jim Campbell asks, what would you guys like to see crowdfunded?
All right. Well, for me,
I do have one.
well, there's no so let me see let me see a Dracula castle, or let me see a Frankenstein lab, or some kind of mashup. Let me see a little sector off to the side of a Talbot a telescope looking up at the moon. So of course I'm going to go something that would be universally monstery. So kind of way that Legos can pack a lot of stuff into a Lego set, or the Imaginext sets for the younger lines will pack a lot of subsections within their play sets. I'd go something like that in a universal monster persuasion. Gee,
Okay.
how do you? And then Jim, please put in your own answer to your own question. But gee, what are you thinking? Anything
I'm
currently that would cause you to raise an eyebrow, cause you to take pause, give you a little bit of hey, wouldn't it be cool if?
Well, I'm impressed that you had that answer so quickly. That's really cool. Yeah. So for mine, it's also pretty quick. It is the Death Star. The thing that you have, right? You have the vintage Death Star, the Kenner Death Star from back in the day, back in the time where there were barely any Star Wars toys that existed because there was only one movie at the time, and that was an enormous playset. Maybe it didn't make a whole lot of sense of how it was laid out because it's kind of just a wedge. I mean, realistically, right? You could have like a big orb, taking up half of your house. That wouldn't
Right,
make sense at all.
then hinges that would to open up and get in there. I mean yeah.
Yeah, but that would have been that is my one. I would love to see a modern take on the Kenner Death Star. That one, yeah, if it came out, I'd back it instantly. I wouldn't have to think about it. It just boom, I'd be right there. I'm pretty
So
good on the GI Joe like classified stuff or GI Joe stuff. Like I bought the Sky Striker HasLab thing, and I kind of regret it. It's just sort of like, all right, I got the Sky Striker, and I don't I'm not feeling the obscurity bit. It's like okay, it's large, it's larger, it's cooler, it's got some additional things on it. But yeah, not. I do need to unbox the Hiss tank. I did get the
yeah,
GI Joe
yeah.
classified Hiss tank.
His
I'm
tanks are
sorry, I
pretty
cut you
cool.
off there. What you were gonna add something?
Oh well, as I'm looking over at the vintage so right there's the top, and then there's like the large laser cannon on the upper level. You got the elevator, and then around the back of the elevator, the walkway, so Kenobi or somebody else could depower the thing. Then you had the swing, the Luke and Leia swing across. So then with the retractable flooring bits, I was just trying to think, and one of the great highlights at the bottom, the trash monster, the trash compactor. I was trying to think what other stuff, trying to jog my memory quickly from the OG movie, from A New Hope, what was originally just called Good Old Star Wars. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
what other elements could they get in there? And I don't maybe if you put a little something on the top where you could have a docking feature then, or a little like a launch area for a TIE fighter or something. Oh, there you go. Vader's, or was that a total separate toy? Vader's chamber where he'd
Oh yeah,
rejuvenate. Maybe that
yeah.
was a total separate thing, but whatever. There might be other stuff that wasn't included in the original one that would be kind of cool to add into to a set that could theoretically, hypothetically come out
I mean, I think the meditation chamber from Empire is in his Star Destroyer, but you could add more things into that, and then it could add, more play value. You could have, things, scenes that you see in the Mandalorian, like hallways or stuff. There's all kinds of like possibilities.
This is good. This is
Yeah.
good.
Oh man, we got a lot of comments. So
All right.
Jim Campbell writes, "Big Castle, good for Doctor Doom too." Yeah.
Damn. Yes. Get a little L over like the doorway and whatever. I don't know the architectural names for things, but you got like stones and little L for Latveria over the entryway. That'd be good. That'd be good.
Yep. I mean, and that could have all kinds of play value. Not Marvel, GI Joe, really anything. Jim Campbell writes, Death Star is a great one. Did you see the Carbon Han platform they made? It was, yeah, I don't think I have that one. I don't think I ever bought that one. I certainly looked at it, but it was like half the platform. It didn't quite make sense of how it was laid out. And it felt like, if you were to like try to 3D print it yourself, it would cost more money and, all of that. But yeah, it still wasn't compelling for me. I do have the Mandalorian, the Navarro Cantina set. I do have that, and then I do have the Tantive. I have two of the Tantive hallways which you can put together. So I have some diorama pieces, but yeah, that was an odd one. Dave writes, shockingly, I still have my green Dianoga trash monster from my old Kenner Death Star. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, Dave would know to not just call it my trash monster, which is all that I would know. But of course, Dave knows things. You can't get that many words and pictures on a blog if you don't know things like words.
It's not even chemically possible for those little pieces of Nerf to still exist anymore, right? Those have all disintegrated by now.
I got to like unless somehow it was in a vacuum seal kind of a circumstance. But yeah, I got to figure. Straightforward answer is no, and then to just take a mini detour over there. Similarly, the Fisher Price Little People stuff. If you had the beds for the castle or whatever else, the foam was not designed to last for a thin layer of foam or thin wedges of foam. Maybe it's even the same kind of foam between Kenner and Fisher Price, but at any rate, foam from any toy company from the 70s didn't have a life expectancy to still be in its original condition right now.
No, definitely not. And Crafter writes, have you seen the new Monsterizer by NECA? I certainly have. Have you seen it, Mr. C?
Now, Crafter, let me tell you, pal. First of all, the animation for the ad, you got Dancing Frankenstein and Dancing Dracula. Like, see that? They suck you in. They come up with clever visuals and they want to make you buy the stuff. But again, I have the utmost respect for the NECA product, and it's a costly line. And some people in the Universal Monsters on the Reddits or on the NECA subreddits, some people are full on collectors and have displays rivaling the quality of a display that Casual Crafter would show you on his own channel. So on one hand, I would love to have the Monsterizer, but most likely I'm going to have a little composure, rein it in, and just take a pass and not pick up. But so I would love to have the Monsterizer, but I probably won't actually go on it. Crafter, your thoughts? Do you anticipate that you're going to pick up the Monsterizer?
Well, he writes, it's scaled for Mego usually. I suspected as much when I saw that thing. And if so, it's kind of a bargain.
So the original Remco Monsterizer, again, Remco did both 3 3/4. So Remco was hedging their bets. They did 8-inch or almost 8-inch characters to be consistent with the Mego line, and they did 3 3/4-inch characters to be consistent with the Kenner, Star Wars, and GI Joe lines. So the original Remco Monsterizer, which is what NECA is now doing a tribute to, was definitely, so the NECA figures are just slightly slightly off from the Mego size and on some measures. But yeah, so I'm sure the Monsterizer would be functional with the Mego characters as well as the NECA characters, which makes it maybe a better value. But around here, we're loyal to J Spy's 3D printed customized devices, and now I wish I had those in the backdrop. But no,
Yeah.
so as a actual professional company, you cannot beat the NECA Monsterizer.
Well, and there's that meme, right? Why not both? There's nothing wrong with
Yeah,
both
yeah,
at all. Yeah,
agree.
yeah. It looks really great. Yeah, I have the Mummy's Tomb. That's cool. Those accessories are just um, when I see them in store, they are really impressive to behold. All right, so I'm conscious of time here, Mr. C. We are past the hour mark, so I think we're going to be really, really quick. It's on the holiday movie thing, Mr. C. Let's say it's Christmas Eve. Actually, even though we've known each other across decades, I don't know what your year-end bit thing. For me, I will watch Christmas Story on Christmas Day. That's kind of my only go-to. Last year, Christmas Eve, I think I watched Die Hard. I have to check my own. But any particular standout favorites for you, Mr. C?
Well, we've been trying to do the tour and the tour of the of the older movies. Oh, look at me! There's a bunch of new release movies, relatively new release movies that I haven't got to. But oh, look, a timeless classic. Let me clear out some space in the evening for it. So recently, around the house, we have watched Christmas Story, and again, it captures so many key moments from being the holiday and being a kid. And anytime you have a thing that's set in one era but is presented during a different one. So you got your Happy Days reflecting life in the 50s during the 70s, or you got your Wonder Years reflecting life in the 60s during the 80s. Anytime you have that play of time, so it kind of highlights things to the older generation and the younger generation at the same time, it's a good story structure. So in that way, Christmas Story is one of the top notch. And again, the interesting that it not a box office dominator as it came out, but over time built up a legendary following. So in that regard, anything that's an underdog or something that persevered and built itself up through persevering, got to give respect to that. So did enjoy Christmas Story just the other night. Similarly, Wonderful Life. I know that's one of your major staples. And let me say, we'll do more holiday movie talk in the near future as we are in the holidays, but in the briefish, non-long essay format answer kind of a way. I just had also watched Muppet Christmas Carol a couple times in a row, and man, Michael Caine brings it, and that's a real good holiday classic.
That is so good. That's a good call out. I think somewhere, maybe it's on Disney Plus. They've got a clip of the missing song. There was a song that was edited out of a Muppet Christmas, and it's super sad about Ebenezer Scrooge and his love interest in the movie.
Oh yeah,
but that's a wonderful film. That's a wonderful film. I do recommend checking out, if you haven't seen it, the sequel. So I think there's like 4 sequels to A Christmas Story, but the most recent one from last year, A Christmas Story Christmas, I think is the title of it. That one's pretty good. It's got the warm fuzzies. It's got a good heart to it. It's not going to make your top 10 Christmas movies ever, but it's a good movie. It's a good movie. Wait a minute. That Ralphie kid is part of the MCU? What?
as a director or producer, I think. But yeah, he ventured to the other side of the camera, and is it Peter Billingsley? Is that his name? I'm not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
good.
So yeah. So he's hit up the IMDb and see a solid solid a Ron Howard like transition, if you will, from being the child actor to being a guy who's got some credibility in the director chair.
How about that? That's cool. I know he pops up in like various movies. He's an elf in Elf. He's one of the one of the characters in that. So that's a good IMDb run. All right, so we're past the hour mark, so we're gonna wrap it up. And Chai Star G asks, when's the next live stream? So actually, the next live stream is probably not on this channel, but instead, where could people find us?
Well, let me tell you, it's still the possibility exists that we may someday do a simulcast and have a couple of things on and be on both channels. But that also could crash and burn. Time will tell. Time will tell. But it is entirely possible that we will be doing our first ever broadcast from the Chai Star Studios, and so there's a couple of holidays coming up on the calendar. So just to speak somewhat clearly and somewhat obscurely, the first of these holidays coming up on the calendar, don't be looking for either of our talking heads nor that of Chai Star, but possibly somewhere in the next of these things coming up, possibly live from the first ever time from Chai Star Studios. So we'll leave that be as enough of a teaser for now, but we'll be back around again.
That sounds great. That sounds great. Yeah, and Jim Campbell writes, plays the mysterious crony Mysterio. That's the Ralphie actor is in Iron Man. And then in Spider-Man Far From Home, helps Mysterio. Huh.
Damn, look at Campbell answer the questions besides asking the questions. Good man, Jim Campbell.
Wow, now I gotta rewatch. I gotta rewatch. Yeah. It's probably after I buy some more Ghostbusters off of Hasbro Pulse and after watching this. But yeah, that's gonna be worth checking out. All right. Absolutely. Oh, what are you doing?
I'm just, as I told you before we started, sometimes and now I realize that it was just the light reflection off of the ceiling light, but depending on the angle, I like to have the actual flashlight light within the diver helmet. So I was trying to not wear down the batteries for 3 days by forgetting I turned them off. But so we're starting to wind down. The lights are going down, and we're gonna be back for future foolishness and the near future. We'll have future holiday movie talk coming around and get caught up on whatever other random things that come and go our way.
That sounds good. Well, Mr. C, thank you for being here. Thanks for the time. Thanks for coming on a school night. Appreciate you. Thank you for doing that.
Glad we did it. Shout outs to Jim Campbell, to the Mandarin, to Dave Terror Dave, to Crafter. So thanks for everybody and Chai Star G for contributing to the conversation. It's been good fun, and we'll see everybody real soon.
All right. So from all of us, the twos of us, to all of you, have a happy holiday, Merry Christmas. Be safe and take care of yourself. And we'll talk again next time. So good night, everybody. Thanks for watching. This has been the Fanboy Cantina. Happy holidays. Good night, everybody. Take care.